Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to HitScan. Got a bit of news actually when it comes to the new agent Deadeye. We of course have another teaser that was just put out on Twitter, but also we have some news about when the agent is coming. Bad news, I'm afraid, they're delayed, but the devs got into a bit more detail and talk about Agent 16 and what's coming up. Before we go any further, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Alienware. Ooh, look how nice it looks and look how untidy my flat is. There are four main things why I really rate this M15 R5 laptop behind me and why it's amazing for me to work on the go and also play games on the go, of course. Number one is the CPU. A Ryzen 3000 series of processor means that if you are playing a demanding game on the processor, the demand can be met. I even took an example. I took a 30-minute video that I edited with a lot of cuts and all that jazz on EMEA Last Chance qualifiers. It took about 18 minutes to render on this PC that I'm recording from that is built to edit and make videos. This laptop did it in 15 and a half. Like, considering that's only less than 3 kilograms and 15 inches tall, that is really good performance for something that isn't super heavy to take around. A GeForce GTX 30 series of graphics card is number 2. Again, the graphical performance can be met by a lot of games. Sea of Thieves, Valorant on Ultra if you want to play it there. And your eyes are going to enjoy. Number 3, this is a QHD 240Hz refresh rate display that also has a display in 1440p. Number 4, when you're playing games like Valorant, you need to be able to play as mechanically strong as you can. And because it has a mechanical keyboard on it, you can get that input and it feels amazing. They're not very loud with a clickety-clackety. But if you are looking for a new gaming laptop, you can check out all of the specs in the description and the top comment. Back to the news. So I want to go over the article, then the new teaser, then everything that we know so far about the new agent that's been teased over the last 6 months now. It's pretty crazy. But the article says, hey all, it's John Kazicki, a Valorant character producer with some news, a state of the agents if you will, talking about Act 3 kicking off soon, past cadence of content. The people are generally expecting Act 3 to come out with the new agent, which is the codename Deadeye. I'm here on behalf of the team to tell you that the new agent that goes by the way, this hasn't been added in or anything, we genuinely don't know the name yet, so great, will launch 2 weeks after the start of episode 3, Act 3 with patch 3.10. And then they go on to why. As development progressed on the new agent, it was clear to us that they were not at the quality bar you've come to expect from us. It's why we opted to hold the agent for an additional 2 weeks while we work on polishing up the final aspects. Sometimes the last 10% of work really brings together the previous 90% of work, but he actually talked about what they were struggling with, which I find really surprising. The concern is that gameplay clarity, such as the visual cues of what the agent is doing, was not quite there yet. In a game like Valorant where decisions are made in milliseconds, these aspects must be there. This was not an easy decision for us to make, and I hope you understand that we'll take the extra time to wrap up the final loose ends. Some good news, we're still excited to show you what the new agent is all about. Stay tuned to our social channels tomorrow at 8 AM PT for a look at the upcoming Sentinel. So tomorrow we're definitely getting a new trailer on the agent. No doubt there's going to be assets and stuff shown. I can say, because nothing has come our way, that there isn't a playtest event that at least I know of at this point. Maybe there is one in 2 weeks when the agent's ready to launch, but I figured that was worth saying as well, that this isn't some pulling a rug out from under you. It's really interesting that this has actually happened. It also kind of explains maybe why the Euro rework didn't happen. Maybe the devs really wanted to focus on this new agent, and certainly when it comes to visual cues of what the agent is doing, like John says, that was the area that is going to be fixed for Euro, changing some of the abilities and the animations and their visual cues. So it's all sort of coming together. I do think it's a bit of a busy time for Riot with the launch of Arcane. It really sounds like it's all hands on deck for that across all of Riot. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's had some impact on the launch of this game, despite it Valorant obviously being very different to a League animated series, if that makes sense. But I'm not too bothered about this. I'm glad that we knew about it ahead of time. 2 weeks isn't a big deal realistically, and considering that the Act 3 patch is going to launch with no doubt some balance changes in prep, a new battle pass, some new skins, just new content. Whilst we might not get the new agent straight away, we could get the clash system or changes to rank. So we might still get quite a lot of stuff for next week. It's hard to get a gauge, but waiting for the new agent in 2 weeks really isn't that big of a deal, to be honest. But do let me know what you think. It's an interesting one. We have seen the devs slow down on content a little bit over the past couple of months, so the fact that it's delayed isn't surprising. but it's 2 weeks. If it was a month or two, then yeah, maybe people were going to be a bit more irritated. But now we get to move on to the teaser that came out a couple of hours ago. Really doesn't tell you much. It's more of an aesthetic thing than showing off an ability. But we do get a bit of a look of what their utility is and what they have. We've seen this sniper rifle a couple of times, so that's the item on the outskirts. We've seen a lot of pictures of the Deadeye agent with it. The cards in the center is something that we have seen before. We've seen it in a teaser where the devs originally revealed that this was going to be a Sentinel character. Pretty cool, more of an aesthetic thing. We get to look at maybe some of the abilities of Deadeye, but more the utility, the guns that are tied into him. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think this is necessarily a skin line. It could be, considering you're seeing a couple of sheriffs in the center of the screen, or at least it looks like sheriffs. But I would imagine that maybe some of his abilities of the new agent, we're assuming it's a him based off the picture, based off the French accent person talking in the Fracture trailer. We'll get onto that. But effectively, I imagine that the abilities that Deadeye uses brings out these guns to use the abilities from, if that makes sense. So for example, real quick, you know how Breach, his arms change into the utility that he's using to flashes, to the aftershock, to fault line? I imagine that's the same way if you use a set ability, say example like a flash for Deadeye, if he has one, it actually brings out a certain gun that he fires the flash from, because obviously it seems that they're like this assassin that has all of these cool looking weapons and they're very stylish and they have this set aesthetic. It wouldn't surprise me if those guns aren't the ones that we typically pew 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 in, but provide some form of utility for the character. So the sniper rifle might have an ability, which we'll talk about in just a short second. So really not too much there to go off to really give us the clues about what this agent is going to do. However, yesterday's one, despite not really being that big in scope, actually does tie in a lot to what we've seen before about the new agent as well. So this is the teaser that came out yesterday. Most of you have seen it, but the thing that I didn't really see many people actually talk about is this is a bullet that's been fired with this purple effect. Again, this is what I mean about maybe this is the bullet that's shot from the sniper rifle, which like I mentioned is a set ability or could be the ultimate as well. The fact that Valor League seems to agree really got me thinking that this is maybe an ultimate ability that's kind of like a Hunter's Fury. The sniper rifle gets pulled out, maybe gets a bit of information on where the enemies are, and you could just wall bang them from across the map. Just one shot, full kill, I don't know, something along those lines. But the thing about this that I'm surprised that nobody else picked up on is we actually saw something very similar to this in the Fracture teaser and at the start of the Fracture trailer when it came out. These are effectively the same, which goes on to some of the other information that we know about Deadeye up until this point. So if you've caught up to everything, there's nothing new that you're going to hear here, but there is bits and pieces that have been dropped over the last couple of months that you may have missed. So for example, the Fracture trailer. This is likely Deadeye talking, and the interesting thing is that they are French.
Incredible that something so small can create such opportunity.
So we know what they look like, we know what they sound like, we know kind of roughly where they are in the universe from a lore perspective. Obviously having a bit of a chat about Fracture and all that jazz. Some really cool voice lines in here, and the fact of hearing a new agent in a new map teaser is actually really cool. I like that quite a lot. But also we have heard a lot in regards to what the devs have said about the new agent, including not only the fact that they're a Sentinel, but how they're going to play. This is what the devs said in a State of the Agent article from September, saying that we took a step back and thought about different ways to provide another Sentinel to the roster. A Sentinel that focuses on mechanical outplays, with an additional focus of gunplay into the mix for an extra flourish. We won't reveal much more. Just know that once you achieve that dream moment, it will be magnifique. Again, magnifique, French. And the dream moment might be just getting these wallbang shots in from the rifle. Makes sense why the guns are shown off, because all of the abilities likely have a focus on mechanical skill and also gunplay as well. So whilst your abilities are not the guns that you typically use in a round, they're likely to still be guns from the aesthetic. And then again, you can see the picture on screen with the card that's right in the center as well. So yeah, we got some really cool stuff on what Deadeye is looking like. We don't have an official name yet. Deadeye is not going to be that. It's just a code name that the devs used that was datamined right at the beginning of Act 3, as far as I could tell. But I do want to touch on a couple of different data mines that have come out as well. Not really much to do with what's going on here, but you never know, they could be. For example, this is something that Floxy came back with a couple of days ago, talking about the initial teaser that came out Tuesday, I think it was, or like very early on this week. Saying the words twat is something that's really interesting. It's like obviously free in French, but this is everything that they found. This is where they found the teaser in that folder. And part of me thinks maybe just like Troy could be the name of the agent. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to be that dead on. Usually the devs are a bit more subtle. But I figured that maybe just seeing that 3-2-1 is something that's going to be really interesting. Obviously, the French could be 3-2-1, so who knows really. It's something to keep an eye on, but not really too much to connect. If you guys are smarter than me and could work it out, by all means, put it down in the comments. But I just wanted to sort of end the video there. Relatively short one. Again, thanks for Alienware for sponsoring this video. But yeah, like I'm really excited for the agent stuff. I also quickly wanted to say for those about the shorty video that went out earlier this week, thanks for the support. Like, I saw that some people didn't really vibe with it. I understand that. But to be fair, I still wanted to make a video on the new teasers without talking for 8 minutes. This was a little bit different. We have some more concrete stuff of what the devs have said, some more teasers to go over, and also just some more information to fill in for those that are really excited for the new agent and want to know as much about them as possible, which I think is completely understandable, and I hope you enjoyed the video as well. Tune in tomorrow for the trailer breakdown, as we are going to get it around 4 PM my time in the UK, so that's going to be super exciting. And also, yeah, enjoy Halloween and stuff, and if any other news comes up that I hear about in regards to playtests or all that stuff that I can announce, I'll be sure to let you know ASAP. Thanks for watching, take care, thanks again to Alienware, and see you next time.